Could you tell me your name, sir?
Jack Hallett,
And what branch of the military were you in?
Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps. So you were a fighter pilot?
Yes.
Yes? And what years did you serve?
I enlisted day after Pearl Harbor, December the 7th, the 8th, 1941, and got out in February of 1946.
So where were you? I guess you were a part of D-Day then?
Yes.
Right? Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? And what was your unit? What was your...
My unit was the 367th Fighter Group.
And where did you fly from? Where did you leave from? Biggin Hill or...
No, from...
when you flew on D-Day?
Stony Cross.
Stony Cross, okay.
Yeah.
In England?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I used to live by Biggin Hill. I used to live near Biggin Hill.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. I love Biggin Hill.
Well, then we flew top cover. We were in P-38s, which is a twin-boom, twin-engine fighter. And because it was so easily recognizable, that's why they used that for top cover, figuring that we wouldn't get enemy fire.
How many members of your crew? How many did it take to fly that plane?
One.
Oh, it's just you were single pilot. Okay, the little. Okay. I wasn't sure if it had two-seaters.
No,
okay.
It's a single-seater.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience on D-Day?
Well, we were flying top cover to keep enemy fighters out. We didn't see any. We were around 8,000 feet and just patrolling over the beaches to keep the enemy fighters out. We didn't see any. I only flew one mission. Some of the guys flew two. I think the whole group might have flown three. Then after D-Day we flew what they called armed reconnaissance, going after bridges, any enemy troops, trains, pretty much anything that moved behind enemy lines, strafing, dive bombing, that sort of thing.
What aircraft was it?
In a P-38 at that time. Then I'm trying to think when we moved over to the mainland, and I don't remember. It was probably sometime in July.
So where did you end up going? Where did you fly into on the mainland? What city did you guys fly out of over there? Do you remember?
No.
Would you have gone to Ramstein?
No.
In Germany?
Oh, no. We were in France.
Oh, in France. Okay.
Yeah, we were on Normandy.
Normandy, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then as the troops moved, we moved. And then, so sometimes we were in tents, and sometimes we'd be in a chateau, and the first squadron that got to a new field grabbed the best quarters, and the other two squadrons got what was left. And then we stayed in the P-38s until we got to Saint-Dizier. And then we switched over to P-47s. And they brought in 3 P-47s for the whole group to check out in. And we lost one the very first day. Guy had to bail out. So it left 2 for the whole damn group to check out. So I went to combat in it. I used to say 45 minutes, but it was probably 55 minutes. And my squadron was the first squadron to. How do I put this? Yeah, the first squadron to land at Saint-Dizier. So we grabbed a chateau that was up on top of a hill that's on the Marne River, and below it, across the river, was the field. And to get to it, we had to cross this bridge that had been bombed out, so there was a swinging footbridge there. So I had just gotten my airplane, and I had 45 minutes in the P-47. which was a lot different from the P-38. The P-38, when you pulled up, would go up. But the P-47 had a higher wing loading. So I took off in my brand new airplane. Oh, it was used. Anyway, it was new to me. And as I took off, I looked down and I saw 3 guys on this swinging footbridge over the Marne River. And I figured, well, I'll put them in the river. So I pulled up, and the chateau was on the top of the hill, and beside it was the barn. And we used to fly between the barn and the chateau, and then pull up and go land. So I pulled up, and I came between the barn and the chateau, and I saw these guys, and I pulled up, dove down on them. They dropped, but not in the river. And all of a sudden I looked up, and there's 3 trees staring me in the face. So I hauled back on the stick. The P-38 would have gone up. The P-47 did not. The attitude changed, but the altitude didn't, so I went through the top of 3 trees.
But you landed safely.
Yeah, I landed safely.
But you were shot down twice.
Yeah, but this isn't one of them.
That's right.
So the engineering officer, when I got down on the ground, said, Hallett, what the hell did you do this time? I was in trouble all the damn time. So luckily he was able to, we hadn't started to fly combat yet. He had to put 2 new wings on it, new engine, because there was a big log through the engine, new prop, new oil cooler. But he put it to one side and waited till we started to fly combat, and then decided it was a combat accident. So my airplane was olive drab all on top, but silver underneath. So by the time I got it, it was the only place that was olive drab was the top of the fuselage. Everything else was silver, including the top of the wings. But you could spot it 1,000,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what happened to that airplane. So then we flew missions in the P-47.
Well, can you tell me about getting shot down? Any of those experiences, or?
Well, in the P-38, it was my own fault. I was leading, I forget whether it was 8 or 12, and we dive bombed. And we were coming back, and I looked down and I saw a convoy in the woods, and they were in a curve to the right, and I figured, whoa, this is a perfect curve of pursuit, so we can just fly down, shoot at the same time, and get every damn one of them. Well, as we came down, and you leave 4 airplane up for top cover. Nobody fired at me. So like a damn fool, I did what they were waiting for. I pulled up, and that's when they shot. And they shot my right engine out. Something came through the canopy and hit me, but didn't do any damage. I thought, but I could see red out of my right eye. So I thought I'd been wounded. And I grabbed the mic and everything, and I thought I was talking to myself, but I obviously grabbed the mic when I tensed up, swore and said I've been wounded, went over the air. So my wingman came over and said, you all right? And I gripped my teeth like a real hero. Yeah, I'm fine. Ground control heard me, said, can you make it back behind the lines? In the meantime, I feathered up, which you can do. What that means is I feathered up the prop, shut the engine down, which is already shut down, but I turned the prop so it's not rotating, and then closed the shutters so it streamlines that engine, so there's no drag. And the P-38 flew beautifully on one engine, so it was no problem.
That was lucky.
Well, it did anyway. So lots of times you'd come home on one engine, so it was no big deal. So I wanted to know, could I make it back behind our lines? I said, yeah. So my wingman stayed on my wing. And I got back behind the lines and could I make it home? Yeah, I could make it home. So I made it home and we're going to make a normal single engine approach. Dropped my gear, my indicator showed I had 3 down locked. So I figured this will be no problem. And I touched down and the airplane went head over heels.
No kidding.
Yeah. So next thing I know, I'm laying on a gurney, and they're thinking I was wounded and everything. The meat wagon and everything's waiting for me. And so the doc said to me, "Where are you wounded?" I said, "My forehead." He said, "Hell, I cut myself worse than that shaving this morning. I had a little bitty hairline scratch across my forehead." What had happened was I was doing, I don't know, 400, 450, something like that when I got hit. And we figured that the compression and some maybe a little plexiglass got in my eyeball. And it saw I had red, and that's what I saw. And I felt my eye, and it was numb, and I thought I was wounded. So from then on, every once in a while, I'd hear them, somebody over there swear and say, "Jesus Christ, I've been wounded. Jesus Christ." They never let you forget stuff like that. Anyway, so then the doc left, and this GI is working on me. And he said, I said, "What the hell happened?" He said, "Well, your gear went down, but you didn't have a wheel on your right strut." So, of course, that thing dug in, and the airplane was ruined. Yeah.
Did the plane catch fire?
No, luckily it did not. And luckily I didn't hit the gun sight either. So I must have been going back and forth like that.
So did it go head over heels or side to side?
I don't know.
Oh.
I wasn't awake. But what's left of it is this watch band.
Is that right?
My crew chief made the watch band for me.
Oh, wow. So tell me about the watch band.
Well, this is what he salvaged off the airplane.
Oh, okay.
And made the watch band for me.
Oh, that's actually from the aircraft itself.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the watch was issued to me before I went overseas.
And it still works.
Well, it does have a mainspring. Had to put in.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I've never met anybody that had a watch band made from an airplane.
Oh, you have it.
You're the first one. That's so can you tell me about the second time you were shot down?
Well, the second time was in a P-47, and I was too low to jump or anything. So I had a brother that was killed in the Air Force in June of '41 before the war, and he was just riding.
He was what?
He was just riding.
Oh, okay.
And the pilot had an engine quit on takeoff, and he tried to turn back to the field, which you can't do. So I'd done a lot of research, and we used to argue about what to do. And if you can get something to take that initial shock, then you've got a pretty good chance of living. So when I got hit, I was too low, and it was an open field, and then the woods. So I stuck the nose between 2 trees. And
so where was this? Where were you when that happened?
Germany.
It was in Germany.
Yeah,
but you don't remember about where it was?
I don't remember. And the right wing hit first, and then I don't know whether the fuselage dropped then or whether the left wing hit and then the fuselage dropped. But I don't know the sequence. But then when the right wing hit, then it swerved, then the fuselage dropped or the wing hit. And then with that huge engine on the P-47, that was like a bulldozer and went through the trees.
So what happened when you crashed?
Well, the 4th Armored Division
They came and got you.
pulled me out, yeah. And again, all I got was bruised. And I think at that time I might have got a broken rib. Because since I've lived down south, I moved down in '51, I had an x-ray, and the doctor said, "When did you break your ribs?" I said, "I never broke my ribs." He showed me the x-ray. He said, "Yeah, you did." And I think one of the accidents, I must have broken ribs. Yeah.
So then you went back and you started flying again.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how many sorties you actually did?
I flew 104 missions.
104
Yeah.
missions.
And only got in one dogfight.
Really?
Yeah.
And obviously you won.
Yeah.
The other guy went down.
Yeah.
Is that over the channel?
No. That was in Germany.
It was over Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a ME 109. We were escorting British Lancasters.
Oh, I love the Lancasters. They were
Yeah.
beautiful, weren't they?
They were.
Oh.
But the British flew differently than
Yes, they did.
the Americans. They flew like sheep. You had to go kind of herd them in. You couldn't tell who was leading. I guess whoever was in front at the time was the leader. But they were great guys. But who's leading this damn thing?
Did you ever have any of them when you were in France at those chateaus? Because they did the same thing. They'd land their planes and take over a chateau. A lot of the British pilots did.
Yeah, but they were the Typhoon pilots.
Ah, okay.
See, the Spitz and
The Spitz are what I'm talking about.
yeah, but the Spitz pretty much stayed in England.
Oh, and they just flew over the channel.
They had a tactical group also. But like the 8th Air Force stayed in England, and we were the tactical Air Force. So most of our work was close ground support. Our losses, from what I've read, our fighter pilot losses were 4 times greater than the 8th Air Force, because the air-to-air combat was 4 times safer than air-to-ground, because everybody and his kid brother is shooting at you.
Yeah.
Because see, when we'd strafe an airfield, you'd have a ring of 50 caliber machine guns, then a ring of what they call quad 20s, which are 4 20-millimeter cannons set up. These are crooked fingers, but like this, and the guy is on a train. Then you have your 40 millimeters and then your 88s. And all of these are covering just nothing but lead. And so everybody's shooting at you.
So you must have been a very young man when you signed up. And
No, I'm 95.
Oh, you're 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just turned 21. I signed up the day after Pearl Harbor.
Right.
So I had just turned 21.
And where did they send you for flight training?
First I went to Maxwell Field, and then I went to Lafayette, Louisiana, then Greenville, Mississippi, and then I graduated at Craig Field in Selma, Alabama. And that's why I flew a P-40 in Selma.
And then they flew you. Then you went over to England.
No, I instructed at first.
Oh, okay.
I cried like a baby. I go, whoa, I'm not a fighter pilot. I'm an instructor. But it didn't do any good. They didn't pay attention to me at all. And then they finally wanted to get rid of me, so they said, you're going to go.
You kept getting into trouble, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to get this one over there.
Yeah, and that's when they told me, after the war ended, they told me to get out.
And what rank did you leave the?
Major.
Major?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I understand
I never flew combat as a major. My majority didn't come through till I got home.
Okay.
But I was in trouble an awful lot.
But you're still flying, I understand.
Yeah.
What do you fly today?
Whatever anybody will let me fly. I don't know. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah?
It really has.
Do you ever go to any of those meetings where they have the old planes and the guys let you fly their planes?
Yeah.
Yeah? When was the last time you did that? What'd you get to fly?
Well, I've flown the Pitts, which is an aerobatic airplane, with Steve. I did that on my 95th birthday. And then I've flown an L-39, which is a jet fighter trainer.
Oh, wow.
And these guys will say to me, you want to fly mine before they can say what airplane? Yeah. What time of day and where?
You'll be there. I understand you still drive. You still have a driver's license.
Oh, yeah.
And that's good until you're 100, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to go get tested again, right?
Isn't that stupid? Well, they don't test you.
They don't test you?
It's
You
just
just
your
renew
eyes.
it at 100.
It's crazy.
God bless you.
Well, it's wrong. They should give you a test, a driver's test.
You don't want them to hear that.
Well, no,
you're right.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy for people my age just to take an eye test.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know people where I live that should not be behind the wheel of a car.
Yes, and they're
some
a lot
of them
younger than you.
are in their 60s, and they should not be driving.
I know people my age who shouldn't be driving a
we know
car.
that. We know that.
Awful.
Well, it's been wonderful to talk to you, Jack. I can't thank you enough. It's been so great, and we hope you come back to our museum and see us again.
Thank you.
Yeah?